record all of. So if you're just joining us, you'll get access to recordings and replays and everything. So I know somebody wanted to try to record on their computer. Don't worry about it. We got you covered. Okay, well, so first of all, I'm Arden Kaywin, if you don't already know me. I am a professional singer and vocal coach and vocal producer and transformational, I will say, vocal guide to helping you not just find the most consistent and powerful expression of your singing, but also to do that to make the biggest impact so that you can get where you want to go in your singing career and really capture those elite opportunities that maybe have felt elusive to you for a while. So while we're still waiting for people to come in, I have a little getting to know you poll that I'm going to launch. You'll see it pop up in the Zoom. I'm going to launch it right now. And it will take you 2 seconds. This just helps us to get to know you and get to know what's important to you, what what your background is a little bit, so that I can really tailor the workshop if we know what kind of singers we have here and what kind of training you've had in the past and what are the things that you're really struggling with. Oh, it just vanished. Let me do that again. There we go. I ended it. Sorry. As you guys get to know me, you'll notice that I am not always tech savvy. Let me do this again. I'm just going to duplicate it and send it out again. All right, here we go. Launch. Okay, there. Now you should see it and it won't disappear. So while we're waiting for others who are in the waiting room to join us, just take 2 seconds and answer the questions. It shouldn't take you very long. And also, I'm really curious to know what part of the world you guys are in, what part of the country you guys are in. Tell me in the chat. So I split time between Colorado and California. I happen to be in Colorado right now, and I'm looking out at a lot of early snow. So that's pretty cool. So tell me in the chat, where are you? And go ahead and answer the poll while we're waiting for everybody. And I'm going to leave that up for a little bit, and we'll also launch it again probably tomorrow in case anybody missed it. Elena's in Montana. Yeah, you probably have more snow than we do right now. Oh my God, Hawaii? Heidi, are you kidding me? It's like my daughter's happy place. We try to go at least once a year, but we don't always succeed. That's amazing. New Mexico, Sarah's in LA. Yes, she is. Hey, how are you? Good to see you, Sarah. I'm so glad you're here. Dawn is in Pittsburgh. Nice. Kansas. Oh, I love when we have Fort Lauderdale. Chantel, I grew up in Miami. So hello, Floridians who are here. All right, if you're just joining us, we've got a little poll going to help me get to know you a little better. Oh my God, Lagos, Joshua, that's far. I love that you are here. And Adam, I know you, Adam. Welcome from Germany, Adam. And of course, Claire is in Northern California. Oh my God. Okay, so welcome to everybody. As you get to know me, you'll understand that community is a huge part of in my opinion, what can help a singer go from good to great. And so welcome. If you're new to this tribe, welcome to the community. All right, let's get started. I am going to leave the poll up a little bit and just give you a little background on what we're doing here. And then we're going to close the poll and we're going to get down to it. So I really want you guys to buckle up because over the next 7 days, I am going to train you on the major pillars that you need to tap into to grab that last 10% of your potential and unleash the truth of your talent, the truth of your voice, and give you the kind of unforgettable performances and breakthroughs that those elite opportunities require so you can land them and keep them coming. And it really doesn't matter if whatever genre you sing, if you are an opera singer, a pop singer, musical theater, jazz, R&B, country, whatever genre you sing, you've gotten this far in your singing career because you've already got some foundations that have taken you 80, 90% of the way, most of you. And so the next 7 days is about teaching you how to access that last 10% of your potential, of your voice, of your energy, of your technique, your artistry, your impact, so that you stand out from the competition and can go out there and achieve the big breakthroughs, the big opportunities, and the big paychecks that you really want from your singing in the coming year in 2025. So, here we are. Thanksgiving is like 2 weeks away. we're coming into the end of 2024. And I know that a lot of you have been struggling and been frustrated because you're not seeing the results that you want in your singing and your singing career, despite everything that you're doing. And so if you don't want 2025 to look exactly the same as 2024 with all the same frustrations and the same disappointments, then now is not the time to coast, you guys, okay? Because how you show up, what you activate, and how you up level in the next 2 months directly affects your results and how you come out the gate in 2025. So that is what we're doing here, is to help you start 2025 strong. All right. Thank you to those of you who have filled out our little poll. Appreciate you. I'm going to end it now and we'll pop it in here maybe again later or tomorrow for those of you who are just joining us. All right. There we go. So just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. So this is session 1. You guys were doing this 7 sessions, 7 masterclass series, same time, same place for the next 7 days. And the sessions and the trainings, they build on each other. So if you have to come late or leave early, or you have to miss a session, watch the replay as soon as possible. So you will receive replay links in the mail. And also, if you're in our Pro Singer Facebook group, which you all should be, you will want to watch the replays as soon as possible. Also, because replays are only available through the duration of the 7 days of the workshop. They disappear next Wednesday night. So if you miss a day, not to worry, watch the replay that night, the next morning, so that you're caught up and you're current with what we're working on in our next session. You all should have by now your masterclass workbook. Okay. So in case you might have gotten an email from us to say, oops, we had a corrupted link, something wasn't working. And so we sent you out a link to the masterclass workbook again this morning. Ashley just put it in the chat, my amazing assistant who keeps my head screwed on straight. That's in the chat for you now. So if you don't have the workbook, grab it. If you have the one from a couple days ago, this is the one you want that has the links and everything that work within it. Okay. So this is for you to be able to follow along. And also this is where all of the links to our practice content, the exercises I'm going to be giving you, MP3s, homework that we're going to be doing is all in the masterclass workbook. So you will be a little lost if you don't have it. So again, make sure you grab it. And Ashley just put that in the chat. From time to time, I will ask for guinea pigs, volunteers to sing and coach on a particular tool I'm giving you. If you've had a call with Amy, our amazing workshop concierge, you have an opportunity to be one of those volunteers to coach on a certain day. If you're interested in what we're doing and want to be a volunteer and a guinea pig, make sure that you get on that call with Amy, because that's how we know what you're struggling with, what you're working on, the things you want help with, the issues that you're having in your singing, so that, you know, those who want to be guinea pigs on a certain day, I know the pool who I'm drawing from, who's working on those issues. So maybe Ashley, you could put in the chat the link to Amy's call calendar for those of you who really want that support to get in there. And you can book that call with her. It's a 15-minute call just for us to get to know you and what you're working on. It's not a voice lesson. There's no singing in it. It's just a discussion. So the other thing that's super, super important right now is for you guys to understand that this is our safe space. Okay. For those who share and who sing, we encourage bravery, vulnerability. I have a 0 tolerance policy for any meanness, any criticism, any throwing shade, any judgment in the chat. If we see that, we will give you a warning. And after that, we will not hesitate to kick you out of this meeting, because this is the place where you need to feel comfortable messing up. I was going to say effing up. I don't know who's got kids who might be on a speaker, like failing forward, like being vulnerable, right? And if there's meanness, criticism going on, then you can't do that. And I have no tolerance for that. Okay. So please, this is one of my highest held values for this community, is that this be a safe space. So please do your best to uphold that value for us. We are doing a scholarship contest at the end of this workshop. So if you come to every day of the workshop over the next 7 days and you don't miss a single one, at the end of our time together, you will be eligible for a huge scholarship for our flagship training program. And I'll be announcing that later on in the 7 days, like Monday and Tuesday in our sessions coming down the pipe next week. Okay, so that's the housekeeping. Let's get down to business. Let's talk about impact. There's this thing called the impact gap. And what the impact gap is you are putting yourself out there. You are recording. You are going to auditions. You are performing. And yet, despite everything you're doing, and despite the fact that you feel what you are giving in these performances, in these recordings, in these auditions is incredibly powerful, you're not seeing the results of that in the form of the career, the outcomes, the opportunities you really want. So you put out this record or this EP or whatever, and you only get a couple thousand plays on Spotify, or you're going to auditions and you're not getting cast, you're not getting offers, you're pitching for gigs and you might get the first one, but then the venue doesn't invite you back. When that is going on, when the external results do not match the amount of energy and work and how you feel in these performances, we have an impact gap. And so today, I want you to understand why you're stuck in an impact gap, why you are not landing these elite gigs, auditions, why hundreds of thousands of people are not listening to the recordings that you pull out, despite all of your vocal training, all of your hustle, all of the energy and time that you're putting into this. Okay. I want you to understand why you're in this impact gap and the first breakthrough that you need to fix it, which is the number one thing that traditional vocal training has never taught you. Okay. So nothing that I will teach you this week will matter at all without first getting a deeper understanding of the mind and body connection in singing. So this is the number one breakthrough that facilitates the impact you want and everything else. So let's dive in on this right now. So first of all, make sure you have your masterclass workbooks handy, have them open, take some notes. So the majority of you in here fall into one of two categories. You're either already a professional singer, and for our purposes, that means you are already being paid to sing or paid for your recordings or paid to perform. But though you're being paid the really elite gigs and the big paychecks that you really want, they're still going to somebody else. They're still going to other singers, not you. And you've hit a ceiling, okay? And you don't know what more you could possibly do to break through that ceiling to that elite level in your career. So there are those of you who fall into that category if you're already a professional singer. Or there are those of you who are in another category where you're not a professional singer yet, but you are a serious singer. You are a singer who is at that point in your career where, given the amount of time and energy and money that you have spent on expert vocal training, on the amount of hustle and recordings and auditions and performances and practicing and putting yourself out there every day, despite that you should be getting paid, but right now you're not putting yourself out there and you're just not seeing the results that you want because of it. So whatever bucket you fall into, we're here to break you through to the next level of what you want. And so you've gotten this far in your singing journey because you've already got some foundations that have taken you this far. The next 7 days is about teaching you how to access that last chunk of potential so you stand out from the competition and you can go out there and land these next level opportunities that you really want. Now, first, I want you to really get that having an elite singing career is not really about talent. I'm sorry. At the level that you're playing at and at the level you want to play at, everyone's got talent. It's a given. So it's not about talent. What really separates the men from the boys, the badass singers from the superstars? Guys, it's all about energy. It's all about energy, how you use your energy. And so what do I mean by that? Your audience responds to your energy, not just your singing. But the audience is not the only thing that's responding to your energy. your voice is also responding to your energy as well, because the way you use your energy affects how you use your voice and what comes out. So this, your vocal cords, your larynx, is not your instrument, okay? Your whole body, this whole thing is your instrument, not just this, not just your larynx, your whole body. And just like a trombone player or a cello player make sure that their instrument is in good working order, we too need to make sure that our instrument, our whole body, is set up to make the biggest impact as efficiently as possible when we sing and perform. But your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. And that is concept number one for today. So if you're following along in your masterclass worksheet or workbook, this is concept number one. Your body cannot do what your brain is sabotaging. Write it down. You guys, your body is built to respond to your brain in everything. Your body is only ever responding to your brain all day, every day. And your brain is managing and directing the functions of your body, your heart rate, your digestion, basic functions, as well as interpreting your environment, making meaning out of your environment, telling you how to feel about it, which causes a physical reaction in your body. So think about it. When you have a thought or a feeling, it lives in the body. We physicalize our thoughts and our emotions. It's just part of being human. It's what we do, right? Because, like, think if you have a feeling or a thought that really excites you, like, let's say you have a first date with somebody you're like super into, you get butterflies in your stomach. That's your body's physical response to that thought, to the oxytocin and the good hormones and the good chemicals that get released when we have a good thought. And if you have a thought that really scares us, right? If we go into that thought pattern of fear, we go into fight or flight. It's the human response to fear that all humans have had since the beginning of time. That's our physical response to fear, right? Like the caveman's in the cave, the bear walks into the caveman goes into his fear reaction, which will either be to brace himself to fight the bear or to flee, to run away from the bear. Both are physical reactions of the body to the circumstance and the fear that was created in the mind, in the brain. So your brain and your body are interfacing like this all day, every day, in ways that you're present to and in ways that you're not. And so let's say that you are a singer who is just the teensiest bit insecure about a certain aspect of your voice. For example, let's say you're just a little insecure about your high notes. Like, you've got them, you can do it, but there's always that doubt, that fear that kind of lingers around because it's just never been an easy part of your voice. And because of that, let's say now you're in a big audition or something, big performance, whatever, and that anxiety starts to creep in about the upcoming high note. Does anybody get anxiety when it's time for the high note? Tell me in the chat. Come on, be honest. Who gets anxiety when it's time for high notes? Yep, I see you, Elena, Chantal, Deborah. Yeah, I guarantee you, you are not the only three. we have 67 people in this meeting. Like, I'm guarantee you, you're not the only ones. Yes, I see you. Right, you guys. Like, don't be shy. This is what we're here to fix, right? We can't fix what we're not aware of and what we're not willing to raise our hand and own. Okay, so you got some anxiety on the high note. So guess what? Your body is going to physically react to that fear, that anxiety. And here's what happens. The high note is coming, and you're going to go either into fight or flight because you don't want to fail at that high note. You don't want to embarrass yourself in front of your audience or feel less than or lose the gig or crack, when you had the big opportunity. So you're in your fear. You're in your fight or flight. So if you're in fight, if you're somebody who has fight as their fear reaction, that looks like in the body, make, force, do, push, manipulate, control. And if you're somebody who goes into flight, what that looks like is backing away from the technique you would otherwise know. Either way, you are sabotaging the body and the technique that you otherwise would have. And you are now creating that bad high note because either you're going into force, push, manipulate, which that's not effective for your technique, or you're going into take your hands off the wheel, you've backed away, and now that's not effective for your technique. So either way, your fight or flight reaction has now created the very botched high note that you were terrified of making in the first place. And what's worse is that now You have evidence that you're not good enough. You have evidence that you can't trust your voice when it counts. You have evidence that you shouldn't be there. And so now that evidence feeds back in to the next high note you're about to sing, or the next time you have an opportunity to go out for something. And now you're even more in your fight or flight reaction. You're even more in your fear reaction, which means the next opportunity, the next high note, you're going to fight even more because you're even more scared of failing, or you're going to flee even more because you're even more scared of what's coming. And now you have evidence and it feeds back in. And you guys, this is what we call the negative feedback loop of fear. And it is deadly for singers. So get this. You are always reacting to your thoughts and your feelings, whether you realize it or not. It's just part of being human. All people have physical reactions to our thoughts and our feelings. And one of those physical reactions is tension. So tension is one of the ways that our body protects itself from difficult or uncomfortable thoughts or feelings that you have. Whatever the cause, whatever the feeling, it physically lives in our body. But as singers, it means that the physical reaction to our thoughts and feelings also lives in and affects our instrument, whole body, okay? So for someone who's not a singer, Joe Schmo sitting at his computer all day long doing his, spreadsheets and data, whatever, while physicalizing his thoughts and his emotions, it might not be comfortable. It's not going to prevent him from doing his job. But for a professional singer, someone whose body is their instrument, those physical reactions and those tensions have a dramatic effect on you being able to do your job and do it at the most elite level. So it's because that physical reaction to your thoughts and your feelings affects the energy that moves or does not move through your body, your instrument. And think about it, guys. Sound is a form of energy, like light, like heat. And energy cannot be created or destroyed. That's just the law of entropy. You guys remember high school physics? The law of entropy. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It just changes forms, okay? So if you have one job as a singer, do you know what that is? You only have one job as a singer, and it is to impact your audience. That's it. And so if you're going to be a successful professional singer at an elite level, that impact has to be massive. So you stand out from the competition and they keep coming back for more in your audience. And the only way that kind of massive impact happens is when you are the most open channel for energy in the form of sound to move through you to your audience. There cannot be any blocks. And so if you're not breaking through to the level of opportunity and singing career you want, if you are stuck in an impact gap and you're not making the impact you need, that's because there are blocks in that energetic exchange between you and the listener, you and your audience, you and the auditioner. Blocks that you probably don't even realize. See, because energy and vibrations need to flow freely through the body for optimum singing technique, sound, and impact. And our body's physical responses to uncomfortable thoughts and feelings, conscious or subconscious, it causes blocks in this energy. And these blocks, they live in the body in form of tensions that block that free flow of energy and sound from happening and block your impact. And so what is going on in your mind, both conscious and subconscious, matters. It matters, guys, because it affects how your energy lives and moves through your body and has a huge effect on your ability to tap into the fullest potential of your body, your voice, to use your technique and to succeed in ways that you want with your singing. So this brings me to the second concept for today. You guys, my dog is like, I don't know what he's doing. He's on the floor, like coughing. Sorry if you hear that. He's like this big and he makes too much noise. There. God bless you. Okay. Concept number 2 for today. I hope he can like calm himself down. Concept number 2 for today. Energy is the link between mind and body. So at the top, we talked about impact And mind and body need to be working together for impact. And energy is the link between mind and body. It is what creates the mind body connection. So if the body cannot do what the brain is sabotaging, then in order to stop the sabotage so that mind and body are working together when you sing, creating that big impact, then you've got to understand and align the energy that has been creating the sabotage. So let me explain what I mean and how this works. The energy that many pro singers like you are in when you sing, regardless of if it's an audition, a performance, a recording, or even just practicing, the energy that most of you are in usually comes from one underlying subconscious need. And that is the need to prove. The need to prove you are good enough, that you belong on that stage, to prove your talent, to prove you belong there, that you are worthy, talented, lovable. Guys, none of us wants to admit, yet this is where the majority of us is operating from. So let's be real here. First of all, do any of you relate to this? Like, show of hands in the chat. If you get real honest with yourself, like, how many of you are like, oh yeah, I get it. Like, I get nervous because I don't know if I'm good enough. And I always feel the need to prove, to show that I belong there, that I'm worthy of whatever the opportunity is. Yes, I see. Heather, Allison, absolutely. Julie, Sarah. Rigo wants to see the dog. Later, Rigo. Chantal, yes, Dawn, I get it. Okay. And Sapphire's owning it in other aspects of her life too. Yes. And so, guys, most of the time, though, I want you to understand it's not conscious. It's really not. But it's that subconscious, not enough thinking and the energy behind that that is driving the bus. Especially if you've been at this for a while and you've been up for big opportunities. You get into the final callbacks of things. You have a record label meeting, and then they go with someone else. And it's that always the bridesmaid, never the bride disappointment. Has anybody experienced this? Like, tell me in the chat. You get into the callbacks, but you don't get the role. You have a big opportunity. Maybe you get into the finals of a competition, or you have a big meeting with a record label or a recording, like an agent, and then it's just like crickets, just goes to somebody else. And guys, there are real feelings there. You release a record and you get a couple bites, you get a couple maybe 20,000, 30,000 streams, but nobody's calling, nobody's knocking on the door. You still aren't booking the big gigs. And so there's real feelings here. There can even be real trauma there. Like, let's not sugarcoat this. To be working as hard as many of you are working, and to have put so much blood, sweat, and tears into making this singing career, this dream, a reality, and to be in this mix this close, only to be continually passed over, it can be traumatic. And we feel then like we're not enough. And we don't want to feel that. We don't. And so you respond to that underlying subconscious need to feel like you're enough and to prove that you're enough in either one of two ways. So the first way is with a very, what I would call outwardly focused energy. It's the energy of, look at me, listen to me, like this, we've all seen singers like this on The Voice or American Idol, where like, they do have a good voice, but you're watching them and they're just trying so hard. And the audience, they can smell it a mile away. It's really uncomfortable to watch. Like, have you guys seen performers like this where it's just like, ah, and like, come on, listen to me, watch me, love me. It's so uncomfortable for the audience. And what's worse is that it sabotages their technique and their impact because it makes them push. It makes them force. They push because they've got something to prove, and gosh darn it, they're going to give it to you because they don't want to fail. So they just overdo and push and blow everything out, and it ends up sabotaging their technique and their impact and not being their best performance. Not to mention, but what I was saying, the audience just feels like accosted by their energy. And it's like, now you just want to tell them, just chill out, just stop trying so hard. And so now they've sabotaged their connection with their audience too. Or The second way that we respond to the need to prove is the opposite, is by pulling back our energy, receding and shrinking into ourselves. And it sounds counterintuitive because we say we want to be seen, we don't want to fail, we don't want to, we want to succeed. But here's what happens. We finally get a big opportunity to sing, to prove our gifts to ourselves, to others, to show what we can do, what we've done, by the way, a million times on our own, practicing by ourselves. But now the stakes are high and the pressure there is to prove our worthiness. And it can be so overwhelming for some people that it becomes too much and we shrink away from it in the moment. And when that happens, we back away from our technique. We stop trusting our body. We stop trusting it. We recede from what we've learned, and then we lose the efficiency in our body. And so we can't access 100% of the potential of our sound, and then our performance suffers. Not to mention that the audience feels that wall go up when you shrink back into yourself. Guys, they feel it. I'm sure you've all seen performers. You've watched performers like this, and you can just see like they're not there. There's like no connection. They're singing, but what their energy is broadcasting is, don't look at me. Whether they mean to or not, they've completely gone into the bunker. And now they've broken that connection with their audience and they've lost impact. And what did we just say? What is your number one job if you're going to make it at an elite level as a professional singer? Impact. Guys, impact. Because the bigger the impact, the bigger the income. Impact equals income. So if you want to make it at an elite level and be able to get those big opportunities, impact is key. Okay. So pushing and proving and shrinking away, it takes you out of your impact. So the need to prove is an example of what I call stinking thinking. Okay. Stinking thinking. The ways in which our mind sabotages our instrument and our impact. And there is no way that you can be bulletproof to bring that massive impact with all that stinking thinking going on, because it affects your energy in these two ways. It sabotages our sound, our technique, because of how our body physically responds to it, as we were just talking about. It sabotages our ability to connect with our audience. And without both of those things in place, there is no way that your voice and your performance will make that impact. And without the ability to make that impact reliably and at a high level, you will not have success as a singer at the level that you want. And now you feel insecure. You feel less than. And then you don't act on your own behalf as powerfully as you otherwise would to go after opportunities. You don't put yourself out there in ways that would really serve higher level goals and move the needle on everything you want. And so you stay stagnant. You stay stuck. You quit. And so what do we do about it? Well, first, we've got to change the thinking, because when we change the thinking, we change the singing. That is where all the breakthroughs that you want in your voice and your technique and your career live. When we change the thinking, we change the singing. And that is concept number 3 for today. Changing thinking equals changing singing. Write it down. Tattoo it on your forehead. It is the backbone of everything that you are going to learn over this next 7-day masterclass series. Because guys, I could give you the best technique in the world. And I've got some incredible technique, and we're going to get into that over the next few days. You're going to learn things and hear things nobody has ever taught you, but none of it will matter if you don't get these concepts first. Why? Because your body cannot do what your brain continues to sabotage. So if we're going to change the singing, we have got to change the thinking first, because stay with me. Changing thinking equals changing singing. I'm going to hammer that into you until you're just saying it in your sleep, okay? Because really think about it. Do you ever notice that you always sing better when you're alone in the car or alone in the shower? Like, hit me in the chat. Who notices that? Like, all of my Grammy-winning performances have been in the shower. Who's with me there? Do you guys notice this? That when you're in your car and you're jamming, it's like, oh, I got that note. And then you get on stage in the performance and it's like 50-50, right? Any idea why that is? And I see you guys. I feel you. Allison, yes. Elena, Heather, Joshua, Sapphire, Sophia, Chantal, Amber. Yeah. Okay. Super common. But any idea why that is? Any idea? Why are you better in the shower than you are on stage? Yes, exactly. You guys are killing it. You're not worried, Joshua. Joshua's worked with me. So, Josh, you're a ringer. You're not allowed to answer. Right. No pressure, no overthinking, not afraid of judgment. Exactly. Because in those moments, in those instances, you've got nothing to prove. There's nothing at stake. How you sing is not a reflection of your worth. There is no success or failure there. You're just trusting your instrument, trusting your technique, because in that private moment, you are enough for yourself. You are enough for yourself. Your thinking is making meaning out of where you are and creating circumstances in your body that allow you to use your instrument and your technique for you instead of sabotaging them against you. And your thinking gives a different meaning to other circumstances, like those big auditions and performance opportunities, whether you realize it or not. Your mind is creating a different circumstance, which creates a different outcome in your body, which then sabotages your impact, which is why you're not breaking through. So, keeping your instrument in optimum shape to access that last 10, 20% of your potential for the biggest possible impact means understanding and addressing the part that your mindset plays in creating that in the first place. And then being very intentional about training your mind. Why? Because, say it with me again, your body can't do what your brain is sabotaging. Changing thinking equals changing singing. And this is why so many of you also experience loads of tension when you sing. Like, how many of you suffer from tension when you sing? Like jaw tension, could be neck tension, could be tongue tension, or vocal fatigue. Who experiences a lot of vocal fatigue when you're gigging a lot? Tell me in the chat, because vocal fatigue is most often a byproduct of tension. Yeah, I see you, Colleen. Yes. Rich and Elena, Nicholas, yes. Julie, Steve, absolutely. Jaw tension for Juliana, yes. Tension in your shoulders, Adam notices that, yes. Okay, so tension in singers is caused by two main things. Improper breath support is number one. And tomorrow we're going to get into some super high level breath support tools. You guys think that you've been taught breath support before? I guarantee you that even with the tons of training that many of you have had, there are things that you are going to learn tomorrow that you have not heard before. So super psyched to show you all of that. So don't miss tomorrow. But again, I could give you the best training on breath support, which I will, and it will not matter. And your body won't do it if your body's holding tension to try to protect you from failing, to try to prove your worth and keep you safe. So here's what that looks like. Here, actually, I have an idea. I would love to have a volunteer here. So before you raise your hand, who here performs a lot and experiences a lot of physical tension or even vocal fatigue, either during rehearsals or gigs or both? Use the raise hand function. You guys know where that is? It's on the bottom of your Zoom screen on the heart that says reactions. So who experiences a lot of either physical tension, vocal fatigue? Raise your hand, because if you want to be a volunteer, because I'm going to work this through with you. We're not going to sing right now. We're just going to talk. So don't be afraid. Oh, I haven't warmed up. It's okay. Who experiences a ton of tension? Jaw tension, neck tension, perhaps vocal fatigue. Yes, Nicholas, I see you in the chat. Okay, go ahead. Come on camera and unmute.
Yes.
Hey, hey. Nice to meet you.
Thanks.
All right. So tell me, where do you experience the tension? What part of your body?
Uh, I think it's upper neck and then jaw as well.
Okay. So that you feel a lot in here. And can you tell me, when do you experience it? Is it all the time? Is it in high notes, long phrases? Like, when do you experience it?
Uh, I think it's phrases. Yeah.
What kinds of phrases are we talking about? You experience the tension on high notes, on low notes, on long phrases, you lose your breath. Like when are you present to when the tension shows up when you're singing, or is it just always there?
Uh, I think it's kind of always there.
Okay. And does it contribute to vocal fatigue? Like, do you know what I mean by vocal fatigue?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's also my posture.
Well, that goes into it for sure. Okay. And so tell me, just give me a little nutshell. Where are you at in your singing journey right now? Are you performing? Are you recording? Where are you at?
I was playing at open mics, and uh, I did get a I did get a pretty cool like landed opportunity, but that was and I'm playing at open mic nights. That's pretty much it.
Okay, so right now you're primarily doing unpaid gigs. You're playing open mics. Do you have commercially released recordings? Is this something that you want to do full time professionally? Is that where you're headed?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. And so if tell me, what is your biggest what is your biggest fear about getting on stage either in an open mic or going to a recording session if you don't succeed? Like if you don't sing it well, what's your biggest fear? What would that be?
Uh, I guess this happened once. It was at small venues, just being just singing like without I guess without impact, kind of on the flat side.
Flat, you mean emotionally flat? Like you could just tell the audience was not really paying attention and they were just talking and you were up there trying to give it your all and they couldn't have given to you know what's. Is
Yeah,
that what
like
you
flat
mean?
emotionally, and then like flat is in like the
Pitch.
note. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And so if you're flat, both emotionally and in your pitch, what does that mean? What's the story that your mind tells you? Like if I can't break through to this audience and if I'm not even on the pitch the way I want to be, what does that mean about either your journey or you? What's the story your mind tells you about what that means?
Uh, well, it's like my voice has been. I was singing since I was like 8, so I think of 19 years of all of that leading into that moment, kind of like Picasso talks about, and then it's just like that doesn't mean it much. So it's just in that moment. So it gets it can get to me
Yeah.
immensely.
Tell me more about that. How does it get to you?
Um, it isn't even strain, but it's just it's one of the first times I tend to feel irritation, and it's very odd because I can tend to like when you get so many hours in, you can just kind of focus on thinking about the task at hand rather than like any annoyances.
True.
But
And I want to circle back to something you said a minute ago. You said it gets to me. And I don't want you to feel like you need to diagnose the tension or any of that. I want to know when you say it gets to you, how does that make you feel when you have put 19 years into this and still the audience isn't paying attention and you're still flat. So what is the criticism that your mind gives you in that moment? Why does it get to you?
uh, it gets to me because the criticism actually is to and there is a fear of messing up at times, like just missing a note
Yeah.
because am habitually on the flatter side, but I tend to try and uh, get Machiavellian about it.
Okay, what does that mean? How does that show up?
Um, like I'll try and just go for, like I'll try to go to impress even further, I guess.
Yeah. So my get so that go in Machiavelli, and for those of you who know Machiavelli or who don't, it's the means justifies the end. I'm sorry, the end justifies the means. Backwards. The end justifies the means. So he's gonna push more. He's gonna force more. He's gonna prove more. Because whatever end he needs to break through to that audience and he needs to succeed. But why? If you don't succeed, what does that mean? What does your life look like if you don't actually break through and are able to do this for real as a career?
Uh, wait, me?
Yeah.
Oh, um, well, uh, it does. Well, yeah. I that the goal kind of was to really aim for as high as possible. So
Yeah.
when you settle for less in these instances, uh, it does feel like um, you don't have all the tools necessary, I guess, or
Yeah.
me specifically.
Yeah. You don't have the tools. And maybe, like what you said, if you're, and this is not just for Nicholas, this is for every single one of you. His mind is making meaning out of what's happening and he feels he's worried about it. He doesn't want to be. I mean, like Nicholas, if you don't mind, like being super honest for a second, what is your biggest fear if the next 5 years of your singing career looks exactly like the last five?
Uh, oh, um, I think that if it looks like the last five, it'll be uh, it'll be pretty tough. It'll be like emotionally, it'll be pretty demanding because I'm 27. So yeah,
There's the pressure of
um,
time.
yeah. But
Yeah.
then
But what would be the toughest thing about that? You said it would be pretty tough. If I don't move the needle, if all I'm doing is unpaid open mics, I'm still singing flat. I still am not making an impact on the audience. And you guys, like, celebrating you, Nicholas, for your vulnerability and your honesty and sharing all of this. How many of you relate with what he's saying? How many of you understand this personally? So, Nicholas, what would be the toughest part about not being any further along? You said it would be tough. What would be the hardest thing about it?
uh, um, well, I guess considering how serious I've taken it, it's also just like the amount of like the financial stress, I guess, could be one.
So there's financial stress and the fact that you've been serious about this and working towards this for, at that point, it'd be 24 years. And all of a sudden the mind starts to make you feel less than because you're doing everything you know how to do and you're not at the next level. And so thank you, Nicholas, first of all, for being so super honest about like sharing where you're at and vulnerable because we all feel these things, guys, and we don't speak them to ourselves very much, let alone out in public where with people that we don't even know. So, first of all, celebrating you for your bravery and sharing. But Nicholas, what I want you to know, and for all of you, there is a reason why the tension in his neck and throat is there. His body is literally trying to control the outcome so that he doesn't fail in those moments. Because failing at that open mic, failing at that performance means another 5 years of the same old, not moving the needle and feeling less than because he couldn't cut it. And then making that mean something about him. And your ego mind does not want to feel that you are not good enough. It does not want to experience that. And so your body is now going to try to do everything possible to control that outcome so that you don't fail and end up being 45 years old, having never moved the needle on these things, still not making any money from it, still not understanding how to get past the blocks. And now you're 20 years older and you're nowhere. You're nowhere on your dream. Guys, our ego mind does not want to feel that. So the tension in the body is the body's reaction to that fear of failure in the mind, to that fear of watching somebody else up there on that stage when you know it should be you for the rest of your life while you're still sitting and doing some corporate job that is bleeding your energy dry and you hate having to go there every day. Your mind, your ego mind does not want that. So it's going to do everything possible to control that outcome so you don't end up there. And that's what's creating an overwhelming amount of tension that you experience when you sing. Doesn't matter where the tension is, neck, jaw, throat, tongue, torso. Okay. This is what's cutting off your impact so that you are not able to use the full scope of your technique, Nicholas, if you're constantly flat. And it sounds like you've put in a lot of energy and you've studied and you've done things. And yes, new tools are helpful, but if this, ends justifies the means, pushing control, like what you were just talking about, it is going to override any of that. So do not spend an ounce more money on traditional training unless and until these things are being addressed. Because this is the tension that is cutting you off from the mind body connection that would otherwise allow you to access. So you'd be in the center of the pitch so that you'd be able to connect with your audience and they wouldn't just be sitting there ignoring you while you're up on stage. That's a horrible, horrible feeling. And then you're cutting yourself off from those higher level opportunities to be able to make money at this and not just dump money into it without seeing results and outcomes. And guys, no amount of cutting edge technique that I give you or that anybody else gives you will help. You will still have tension unless the root of that tension is addressed in the moment of singing. Do you guys ever feel like you intellectually understand what a voice teacher is telling you, but your body in that moment is like, nope, not going to do it. Too vulnerable, too scary, too can't control it. Like, nope, Do you guys tell me in the chat, like who relates to that? Where you're like in the lesson and your coach is telling you something and you get it intellectually, but your body literally will not do it. Yeah, I see you guys. And this is because vocal technique is not optimized in a vacuum. You've got to get present to the thinking going on behind the singing to tap into that last 10, 20, 30% of your potential and reliably stand out for the competition and make the kind of impact with your singing that gets you the big opportunities you really want. You have got to get present to the thinking going on behind the singing to do that. So to that end, in order that you get the best possible results from the techniques that I'm going to teach you this week, so that you can embody them more quickly, so that you get the breakthroughs that you came here for, I'm giving you two things to do tonight to start setting the foundation for your mindset. Okay, so the first is a guided meditation for present moment body awareness. So cultivating present moment awareness, guys, it is the first and most important step in creating a strong mind body connection for singing. So, can I ask you guys, how many of you, tell me in the chat, how many of you have meditated before? Tell me in the chat. Does anybody either have a regular meditation practice or you've dabbled in it, you've tried it? Tell me who has it, who has experience meditating. Yes, I see a bunch of you. Julia, Alejandra, Sarah, Colleen. Yeah, Deborah, not regularly, but you have. Yes. Gloria is happy that I'm teaching this. You meditate every day. Good. Anybody completely new to meditation? Like you've never done it before and you're kind of like, I don't know about this voodoo, Arden. I'm not so sure. Dawn is new to it. Alina, Dawn, some meditation. Okay. Anybody like never meditated before? It's okay. You don't need to have experience. I'm just wondering. Joni, okay. And prayer is actually it's a form of meditation. Sheila, new to it. Okay, good. Celebrating you for not being scared to own the fact that something is new for you here. That's amazing. So I'm going to give you a meditation, and you're going to do this meditation today after we wrap. It's about 20 minutes. It's guided. Okay. So you will find an MP3 to download in your masterclass workbook and you will download it. I suggest finding a comfortable place to sit where your back and your body is supported. I don't recommend laying down for these meditations unless you have a physical limitation, which makes it difficult for you to sit for 20 minutes or so at a time. So unless that's the case, find a comfortable place to sit where your back is supported, and maybe a comfortable chair, a comfortable cushion. There's no right or wrong way to experience doing a meditation. Okay. You may find that your mind wanders to your to-do list, a conversation you just had, what you need to cook for dinner, some other distraction. Okay. You may find that your mind is drifting. You may realize that you have completely missed like a whole chunk of what the guide is saying. That's okay. This is normal, especially if you've never meditated before. When this happens and you notice you've drifted and you're no longer in the present moment with your body, just label it thinking and bring your awareness back to the guide's voice. So you're meditating, and all of a sudden you realize that your mind is going back to that argument you had with your husband last night. Notice it. Thinking. Okay. All right. Coming back to what the guide is saying. Okay. So, what we're doing, guys, these meditations, they are integral to teaching you how to be totally present and how to just witness, how to just notice without an agenda. Notice the body. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the thoughts that are coming in and out of your head. Notice without an agenda, without judgment. Because you guys, the mind usually has an agenda that keeps you from being present. The mind usually is busy in one of two places, either shaming you about the past, the thing you didn't do right, the thing you forgot to do, the fight that you had, blah, 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 right? Or the mind is tripping out over the future, what I call future tripping, right? Like the thing that you need to figure out, the thing that you're worried about, the thing that, whatever, right? So the mind is rarely in the present moment with you. It's either shaming you in the past or worrying about the future. But your body, guys, your body is always in the present moment. So when we teach the mind how to be in the present moment with the body, now we're setting up a rock solid, efficient mind body foundation for your singing. Now we're setting up that open, energetic channel for impact. So your mind is now reacting to the present moment of your body instead of your body reacting to all the crap going on in your mind. Okay. To get that. All right. So this meditation that you have for homework tonight is designed to help you get present in your body and help you identify and let go of what's going on in your mind that's living in your body that you may not realize. And then I'm also giving you what we call a thought exercise. Thought exercise to do tonight. A thought exercise is like a little journaling exercise to help you get better awareness around your thinking. I do them all the time with the singers in our flagship training program. Right, Clara? Right, Joshua? Some singers here who've been in the program. Right, Anna? I see you. Amy? Right? Like we do them all the time in our intensive training program. They're super powerful tool to help you gain a new awareness about what's been going on for you, both on stage and off, that's affecting you in ways that you probably would not otherwise realize. So, tonight's thought exercise is for mind body clarity connection. So, tonight you're going to, and you will also find your thought exercise in the masterclass workbook. Okay. It's a PDF. So, do your meditation tonight and do your thought exercise tonight. The meditation is something that you should do each day this week. It is not like a one and done thing. Okay. If you've been here with us in prior workshops, don't get sucked into the mindset of, oh, I already know this. I've already done this before. I've already done this meditation, and then skip it. No, don't do that. Okay. Do it again. Think about it this way. Go deeper this time. Approach the thought exercise and the meditation with a new intention from where you are now. Okay. We're talking about creating new neural pathways here to link the mind and the body, and that requires conditioning. It requires repetition. So if you've done it before, do it again. And if you're new to it, just dive in with curiosity. So every one of you do the meditation and the thought exercise tonight, and then do the meditation each day this week. And then I want you to go post in our Facebook group. That's our Pro Singer Success Collective Facebook group. Most of you are in. If you're listening to me talk about the Facebook group and you have no idea what I'm talking about, tell us in the chat. Ashley will put a link for you to find the Facebook group. Oh, she just did. She's a step ahead of me. When I tell you she's my brain, I'm not kidding. So go into the Facebook group and celebrate that you have been accountable to doing the meditation, accountable to doing the thought exercise, so that I can celebrate you too, because I want to hear what your experience is like with it, how it's going, and also post if you have any questions about it so that I can support you in the group. Okay. So both of these things you find in the masterclass workbook. We've got a little extra time now, so I'm going to open it up to some Q&A, but only specifically about what we've been talking about today, which is mind-body connection, mindset and singing, changing singing. If you have questions about technique or other unrelated questions, vocal health, whatever, we are going to be able to get to all of that this week. So I'd love to open it up now to specific questions that you may have around tension, around your thinking and your singing, around your mindset. Yeah, Sapphire, I see your hand.
Hey, yeah.
Hey.
So, I was thinking about stage fright. Like, I will say since I was little, like I was like 4, and I would just be singing, and if my mom came in, I would stop her like, "Oh my God, did she hear me?" And now I look back and think I wasted so many years of my life because no one would have thought anything. They just think it's cute.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to come more out of my shell, but I have a big problem singing in front of anyone who's like older than me, especially someone like who I know more, like in my family. If it's a stranger, I could sing in front of them, but not in front of my family. And I'm trying to break through
Yeah.
that so I can pursue, singing because it's like the most important thing to me. But I don't know what to do. I'm just so stuck.
Well, so tell me, first of all, Um, have you been putting yourself out there for performances in front of strangers? Because you mentioned that you don't have stage fright. Is that true? Like, tell me, are you out there doing open mics or other performing where you actually have some data that it's cool when you're in front of strangers too?
No, I do sing sometimes, like if I'm just like with casually with just friends or someone who I don't know very well, I will sing, but not if anyone I know well is around. It's
Okay,
weird.
okay. But I can imagine, I mean, how does that inhibit you from being able to practice?
It really does. Like in the workshops, I won't even raise my hand to be guinea pig if there are like too many people around. I don't want them to hear me try it. So
But like
yeah.
this is a classic example of how the thinking that Sapphire has that is, we can dive into a little bit in a minute, but that
Hmm.
is preventing her from acting on her own behalf in ways that would actually have her take the actions that would get her where she wants to go because she's even stopping herself from practicing. Or even in a setting like this, raising her hand to coach. Oh, but if somebody's in the other room listening, she won't do it. And now she's not getting the benefit of that. Right.
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
so let me ask you a question. What what meaning are you assigning to if somebody you know hears you? What would it mean if somebody hears you that you know?
I guess that would be embarrassing.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
I don't think I sound terrible or anything. It's just, I don't know. I guess I've never done it before. So they would be like, oh, what?
okay. So
That'd be
now there's
surprising.
something else, which is basically there's fear of the unknown. So
Hmm.
here's something that you guys, we as humans, we want certainty. We don't like
Hmm.
uncertainty. We want to
Yeah.
know the outcome before we do it. But what do we know, guys? Like we don't get to know what's going to happen. Not only that, like we can't control people, places, and things. And so Sapphire's way of controlling the outcome is just to not put herself in a circumstance where there would be an outcome. Yeah.
That's really good because I actually do have a really uncomfortable thing with change. It really just makes me a little anxious. So now that you say that, it actually makes sense.
Okay. But here's what, which is that thinking is preventing her from the big breakthroughs that she would have because she's not even practicing. She's not even putting herself in scenarios where she could get training because of the judgment. She's worried that she's going to be embarrassed. And
Hmm.
because she can't control the outcome of what her roommates think or her parents think or whoever, her family or who whatever is around. But see, her mind really wants to control that outcome. And so
Hmm.
it's just like we talk about that fear, the fear of not knowing and the fear of not being able to control. We have fight or flight. Sapphire is in flight. She takes herself out. And if you continue to take yourself out, Sapphire, you'll never get the data that you need. You don't get the data right now because you're not in the experiment. In
Yeah,
order to
that's
get
true.
data, we got to get into the experiment, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to challenge you because I know you've been to a couple workshops with us before. Okay. What could you be willing to notice or appreciate or believe, either about you, about this community, about the world at large, that would allow you for just the next 7 days? Okay. Like, I'm not asking you to do this forever and ever. Okay. You could do something for 7 days that would kill you if you thought you had to do it forever. So, just for the next 7 days, okay, what could you be willing to notice or appreciate or believe that would allow you to, pardon my French, not give a fuck what anybody in the next room thinks, and sing along with the workshop and sing along with the exercises? What could that be?
Let's see. I guess that this is so important to me that it doesn't matter what they think.
Okay, so here, guys, she has a why. She's connecting to her why. And all of you may have noticed that when we were sending the prep emails out to you guys for the workshop, one of the big questions was for you to connect to your why. Some of you emailed it to us, celebrating those of you who did for being really like committed to getting outcomes and breakthroughs here. So that why is it more important than anything else, Sapphire?
I think I just feel it in me since I was like little. I've known that this is what I want. It's like, I guess it makes me feel really good, really strong feeling that I really love it. I guess it's just because I love it so much.
Okay. Okay. So when the little gremlin in your mind wants to come in and tell you the story of, oh, I don't think I don't sing out loud, don't raise your hand, don't practice this right now because so and so is here and in the next room. What do you want to say to it?
I don't care. I
Why?
don't care.
Tell it why. Why don't you care?
Because it really doesn't matter what they think, and they kind of need to get to know this version of me because this is who I want to be rather than in the past. Because I have come a long way in my, like, from like I'm not as afraid as I used to be, and I'm still kind of, getting my feet wet. But yeah, they need to get used to who I am now and not who I used to be.
Yeah. But even more important, is it really them who needs to get used to it?
It's probably me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys, it's never what you are doing. It's always who you are being. And
Mm.
this mindset work, and you guys are going to get some clarity on the who you are being in the thought exercise tonight, okay? But this who you are being is so important, guys. Like, we coach our singers in the intensive in this like hardcore, because your actions, what you do, is a complete outgrowth and reflection of who you are being. And so you're telling me that for a long time you were being a different way, but now you are being, you've grown, you've expanded, things are more important to you. So now I'm giving you full permission to, pardon my French, not give a fuck. And for the next 7 days, take the actions that are an outgrowth of who you are being. So who are you being for the next 7 days? Give me some adjectives. Who are you being?
I'm being who I want to be.
But who is that? Claim it. Own it. Who is
Let's
that?
see.
Describe her to us.
Confident singer.
Confident. What else? Come on. I know you're so many things. What else?
Oh, confident, free,
Yes.
happy.
Yes.
Let's see. Oh, not embarrassed.
Yeah. So
The
we're
best
gonna
way I
say
can put it.
we're just gonna say like devil may care, whatever that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like proud to be who I am.
Proud. Yes. Confident, free, proud, happy. Okay. Your job is to show up in that, and their opinion of whatever you do or whatever you are being, that is says more about them than it does about you. Okay. So when you said they have to get used to it, nah, doesn't matter what they don't have to get used to it. Truthfully, that they're on their own journey. They may get used to it, they may not get used to it, but
Yeah,
you're not going to stop your journey anymore, and you're not going to play small anymore, because who you are being now, we're going to call this Sapphire 2.0, okay? Like, is going to require of herself, because she knows that to get where she wants to go, when she shows up confident, free, proud, does it really matter? Are they on your journey or are you on your journey?
me.
Right. Okay. But do you guys get how, like, if we don't address this, then she's going to stay small, not
Hmm.
just in the actions she takes and not practicing and stuff like that, but literally physiologically small. Her body,
Really?
yes. How do you experience, how have you experienced that in the past?
Me? I
Yeah.
mean, for one thing, my posture. I'm always down like this with my neck. It actually hurts my back,
Yeah.
literally.
But that's don't look at me. As opposed
Hmm.
to, wait a second, if you're confident, if you're proud, if you're like, oh, no, here I am, come out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's nothing to hide, right?
nothing. Right. So if we don't address this, the thinking that goes along with the singing, then she'll learn technique, she'll get it intellectually, she'll be able to do some of it, but her body is going to continue to still try to protect her to be small because she's not stepped into the fact that it's safe for her to claim 2.0 who she
Yeah.
is, what she wants. So that's my directive to you for this next 7 days is unapologetic. So tell me, what is the belief that you want to claim to show up unapologetically 2.0 for the next 7 days?
I like the be perfectly imperfect, free.
That's it. I get to be perfectly imperfect, and that's how I'm moving through. I love it.
Hmm.
Go after
Yeah.
it. Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You good. We have some more time. Anybody else have a question about their mindset or about how this is all playing, in their body? Maybe you recognize yourself in some of these things, but you're not totally seeing how this is like showing up, and you want me to help you connect the dots. Yeah, Alejandra, I see your hand. Go ahead and come on camera, Alejandra. Hi
Sorry,
there.
I just so yes, I have the same situation when I sing. I feel like because I feel like the director of who is playing the music, he will judge me because sometimes he asks me to sing in a very high level that is not my level, and ask me to sing things, and sometimes they make a mistake with the song, and I have to kind of fix it, but I kind of lost because then it looks like I was on tune. And that's make me really feel horrible because they are professional musicians. And I guess I study how to sing, but he put pressure on me. And I get stage fright more than before. Before I didn't have so much, but now I get stage fright and thinking about, oh, is he okay with this, because I know that he's an excellent musician and I don't want to make them feel like they not playing, and I will sing like, and but what about myself? So I, and sometimes I feel that I cannot express myself and my voice goes inside, and I lose air, and I was like, oh my gosh, in front of people, and I was like, that's horrible, and I was just praying, oh please, I don't like, please.
Yeah, so you guys, this is super common, and this is a domino effect. There's a domino effect happening here for Alejandra. Okay, so in the moment when you remember the ways in which this conductor, uh, spoke to you or made you feel bad, where do you when you feel less, when you feel less than, when you feel unworthy, when you feel insecure in these settings, where do you notice that in your body? Like, where do you feel that in your body?
I feel it in here in my chest.
Yeah. Okay.
Big.
That's she said it all. Okay. Those of you who know me know where I'm going with this. she said, this happens, I feel this way, and then I lose my air. This is where she feels the emotional. Remember, we talked about we physicalize our thoughts and our feelings. So she's anxious. She feels like she needs to prove something. She's really trying to control what somebody else thinks of her, which is a losing battle, you guys. You cannot control what somebody thinks of you. And I know you know that. I know. And still, we think that the way we're going to either get what we want or not lose what we have is by controlling what this other person thinks of us. But now we're in even more fear and anxiety and insecurity because inherently we're trying to do something that we literally cannot do. You literally cannot control what somebody else thinks of you. And yet you're trying and you will never succeed, which is why you feel that anxiety. And all of that you feel here in your chest, in your solar plexus. And it is no wonder that you feel like you are losing your breath, losing your air, because this is either concaving because you're trying to control it. And so you go for the phrase, and whatever the phrase is, you know, and I have lost my air, or I'm holding and I can't, you know, either way, you guys, it's like there's no freedom here. There's no give here. She's holding all of this here in her attempt to try to control what this person in a position of power thinks of her. And now she's actually created more of the problem that she was worried about in the first place. Okay. So if we don't address this stuff, then even though she may understand all the great breath support technique that I give her tomorrow in class, she won't do it, and her body won't, because it's too scary, because she's too attached to this outcome with this person. So guys, we always have to train mind and body, technique and mindset, skill set and mindset, because otherwise one will always be sabotaging the other. And by the same token, you cannot, it's not going to work either by, you know, doing all this great stuff for your mindset, but not having reliable tools for your technique, for your skills. That doesn't work either. So we have to work these at the same time. So what I want you to start to notice, Alejandra, is that this is a reaction to trying to control something that is out of your control, which is what this director is going to do and what this director is going to say. You could sing flawlessly, and because you remind him of his ex-wife, he's going to hate you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you get to choose your beliefs. Guys, we choose our beliefs. You may not be able to choose that first belief, right? The first belief might just be a fear reaction, an old conditioned reaction from ways that you learned how to make your way in the world from your parents, your religion, your societies, all of the things. The first thought, it might be a reaction, but you can always control your second thought. Okay. So when you think about, like, similar to what I asked Sapphire a minute ago, right? What could you be willing to notice or appreciate or believe about the interaction with the conductor, about the setting, about that you're, you know, the performance setting and rehearsal setting that you're in, that would allow you to detach from caring about what he thinks? What could you be willing to notice or appreciate that would allow you to do that? What could that be? She's thinking. Maybe you guys help her out in the chat. What could that be? What could be a belief that she could own or something she could notice that would help her detach from needing to control what this guy thinks of her? Any ideas?
Probably that I can do this, that I can, I don't know. I don't know.
That's okay. So I'm gonna give something to you, which is that, you guys, when we're so attached to what the audience thinks of us, what the conductor thinks of us, what the casting director thinks of us, whoever's listening to us, when we're so attached to what they think, right? What we're doing is we're forgetting our worth, that you have inherent worth and value regardless of if you are singing or not singing, if you are singing well or not singing. That none of that, it's like we forget. And so we attach our worth to what we're doing because we need to do this well to impress this other person so that we're worthy. And so we're attaching our worth to these outside things. And so when we understand and like really get, and you guys, this is high level, this is, stuff that takes time to condition and to, to like, it's a practice, right? Of shifting mindset. We have to shift mindset along with skill set, because if that need to prove to him that you're good enough, that need for approval, that need to feel like you're not an imposter, that you can hang with these, professional musicians, all of that proving, it just makes you need him to acknowledge you for your worth. But all of that pushing, and it holds you here, and then you don't have your breath. It kicks you off of your breath. So perhaps something that you might play with is, either way, I win. Meaning I'm worthy either way. Either way, I win. Either I'm going to sing well and I'm going to feel really proud of myself, or I'm going to learn something. I'm going to get some data. I may crack on a note and I'd be like, oh, I know now I get some data here. There's something that I get to address that's going to move me to the next level. But I'm worthy either way. Either way, I'm worthy. Either way, I win. Whether I'm singing or not singing well, not singing well. Either way, I win, because I have inherent worth and value, regardless of whether just by existing on this planet. And I know you guys, this seems like very like woo woo and very, but in truth, like seriously, your body's reacting to what you're thinking anyway. It is. So feed it things that serve it, so that the sound that you make is responding to that, instead of what you've been feeling. Does that make sense? Yeah, totally. Good. All right, you guys. I think we have time for one more. I see Renee's hand in the field. Hi, Renee.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to be here. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, we are too.
I'm panicking a little bit. I sing in a professional group that is a bunch of, I would say we overcommit.
Okay.
And so last year I got really bogged down with like all the pressure of all the performances, and that theme that we've kind of been talking about not feeling worthy or not feeling good enough or not having imposter syndrome. And we have a new group, and we have a new group than we've had since over the summer. So I'm getting used to new people, and we did a lot of performances over the summer where they would kind of throw me wherever they needed to balance everybody out, to harmonize everybody. And we've lost a lot. I sing soprano 1 now, which I sang soprano 2 for 20 something years, and then didn't sing for forever. And then this is all new to me. So not only do I have like the insecurity, but now I've got a bunch of new voices I'm singing with. And we've got 2 people in our group that are, I would say, probably pretty pitch perfect. And they throw me off so bad, because I'm the person that like helps this person that's a little flat and this person that's a little sharp to kind of harmonize. And with these 2 people that sing perfectly, it feels like I now kind of feel like I felt insecure in not finding my way before, and now I feel even more insecure with those 2 new people. Does that make sense?
Okay. And so how is this affecting you in the moment? Is it affecting you negatively in your own sound and what you're able to create consistency in your own voice? How? What do you notice?
So like, for instance, yesterday we do our small rehearsal practices at my place of work. And I noticed it was me and one other girl that were like doing this specific part for our performance next weekend. And I sounded like a mouse. And I don't sound like a mouse.
So does that mean that you were really like small and holding, like you weren't free with your sound? Is that what you mean?
I almost felt like I couldn't let my voice, because it wasn't good enough, be past like this chair.
Okay.
Like this. And I'm like, as soon as everybody left, I'm like busting out, like cleaning the place, like,
Okay.
singing with my true voice. at the top of my lungs and happy as a clam. But in that moment, I'm like so constricted that I'm almost miserable. So of course I can't get the right sound out.
Yeah.
And
And I ask, are you noticing physical things from that, tension from that? Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, for
Because
sure.
you're literally playing small. You're like, your body is literally contracting and tensing to try to play small and be like, because I'm not worthy of being seen here, because I don't think I'm as good as these people. I don't think I hold up against them. The imposter syndrome again, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. How do you want to feel?
Well, it's interesting. We went to do you know what gala is? We went to gala over the summer.
Okay.
And there was this gentleman there that sang in front of like probably 10,000 of us. That's the karaoke champion of the world. And sitting between my assistant director, our director, and what I consider the two best singers in our choir. And I was pretty freaking shocked because I had told them, oh my gosh, I wish next time that we did this performance, I could be good enough to be the greatest karaoke person in the world. And all four of them stopped their chitter chatter and they were like, you already are. You just don't believe that.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to the question that I asked you, which is how do you want to feel when you step on any stage, whether it's with your choir, whether it's in a solo gig, whatever? Like, how do you want to feel? Give me some adjectives. How do you want to feel?
I think that's hard because
No.
I
I love you, Renee, and I'm not gonna let you go into your stupid. This is when humans go into their stupid, right? So again, it it's let me just say that really quick because I understand where you're at, right? Where it's like we it's much easier to go into the excuses than to just claim how we want to feel. It can feel scary to claim how we want to feel because we don't know how we're going to get there. Because we don't know how we're going to do it and we don't want to disappoint ourselves. So that's okay. You get
yeah,
to be a little scared and a little uncertain and tell me anyway. How do you want to feel when you step on any stage?
confident, confident with my voice, confident that I'm contributing, confidence that I can stand on my own if needs be,
Okay.
and comfortable in my skin, like comfortable being out on stage and taking that presence and taking up space with my body, with my voice, with
Okay.
engaging with the audience because I love it.
Okay. So tell me, what are one or two things that you could be willing to get rid of, that you'd be willing to let go of in order to stand confidently in your skin and own your talent on any stage? What would be one or two things that you'd be willing to get rid of in order to do that?
Well, definitely playing small. Let's just get rid of that because
Okay.
I that's a huge one. And then being afraid to find my voice.
Okay. So I'm going to get rid of fear of experimenting to find what's mine. And I'm going to get rid of making myself small to accommodate what I think other people need of me or believe of me.
Mm-hmm.
You don't believe that of you, but you kind of do. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So now I would love for you to tell me three things that are unequivocally true about you. Like three things that you know, like you know, like you know. So if I told you three things that I just know, I'm a fucking good mother. I can take anybody and make them a better singer than they were before, and I can trust the unknown. Like these are three things that like I know, like I know, like I know. So tell me three things about you that you know that are unequivocal truths.
I'm a great mom. I'm freaking amazing at making other people feel good about themselves. And when I'm happy and in my own skin, I can light up the room.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're in your we're going to call that your light warrior. When you're in your light warrior, right? What's her name? Give her a
Mm,
name. Give her a name.
Ariel.
Ariel. Okay. Now I want you to stand up and I want you to stand as Ariel. What is Ariel's physiology? Show me how does Ariel take up space? What is Ariel's
Well,
superhero?
I feel like she's just like a powerhouse.
She's
Like,
just like,
yeah.
okay. This is the energy and the physiology that I want you to bring to your next choir rehearsal.
Okay.
You need to show up as Ariel. She's a part of you. She's in you. You are a great mother. You do empower other people. You know how to show up in your own light. That identity just doesn't show up in choir. So now it's a choice, you guys. You get to choose your emotional home around anything. And this is hardcore mindset work. And part of the reason that we are going to do the meditation daily and that you're going to do the thought exercise is because it's not where you live right now. And that's okay, right? We need to condition this. But my invitation to you is bring Ariel out of just certain pockets of your life and bring her into choir rehearsal. She is already a part of you. You already do these things. Now you have to decide, and again, it is a decision, that is the emotional home that you show up with when you sing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not new. It's not something you have to go get. It's not something you have to, this is already within you. You chose those adjectives. You know that of yourself. So how does Ariel do her choir warm-up? How does Ariel dress for the concert? How does Ariel go grocery shopping? Step into Ariel.
Mm-hmm. Like a badass.
But that badass, like, did you guys see her energy when she said that? She knows who Ariel is. She absolutely does. But she's not choosing Ariel because she's got a lot of stinking thinking going on in there that she hasn't worked through because she hasn't, you haven't been through our program. You haven't done other things, whatever that is. And so a lot of that stinking thinking prevents you from stepping into and owning Ariel and choosing Ariel when you get on stage, when you go into rehearsal, when you if you're Alejandro, dealing with the director, you know what I mean? So start choosing that, and it's going to feel uncomfortable because you're not used to it, and all the old gremlins are going to want to come in and convince you that she doesn't belong in there, right? And that's why we do the conditioning and the mindset work, so that you can start to be aware of the thoughts that are coming in when you were in Ariel, and then all of a sudden you notice you're back here. What was the thought? Oh, I see that because I got used to it in my meditation. I got conditioned to noticing my thoughts. Oh, wow, the way I talk to myself there, Ariel would not accept that. Choose a different thought. You guys get to choose your thoughts. You get to choose your beliefs. It's just that most people don't. Most people don't. And they are just run by their inner critic, and they're run by reacting instead of you get to decide your emotional home. You get to decide your beliefs. You get to decide who you step into onto that stage. And part of the work we're going to be doing this week is the support to be able to make those choices even when it feels scary, because you have support for your skill set, so you know you can rely on it, and you will have support for your mindset, so you know you can rely on it, so that when you choose Ariel and she shows up, it's like, hello, and there you are. Is this making sense? What comes up when you hear me talk about this?
Just the interesting thing, like you're talking about, like Ariel has confidence. It's really interesting. I have one lady that always says something negative to me about my singing. And it's so easy for me to believe that one person who I know has her own insecurities. And yet those 4 people that I consider the best singers, I'm not believing that they see Ariel for myself.
Start to notice these patterns. So you guys, this is a huge part of why the meditation is really important and doing it daily, because in doing the meditation, you're training yourself back into the present moment of your mind and your body to notice the present thoughts and the present feelings in your body, because we can't change what we are not aware of. That's the first thing. You got to be aware of something before you can make a different choice. So starting to become aware of when, crotchety singer says something nasty to you, right? And you start to notice that you're buying into it. And then it's like, wait a second, what would Ariel say to that? So what would Ariel say to that one woman?
She would probably say, I'm sorry that your insecurity makes you feel like you need to judge me, or something to that effect.
Yeah. And what would Ariel say to you in response to what your monkey mind, inner critic mind is telling you?
That's not true. It's just BS.
Right. But that conversation is not happening because nobody's trained your mind in how to do that. And so then you get on that stage, you play small, you create tension. The technique that you otherwise know does not work for you. And now you're not going to get the solo because what they know of you is this instead of this. And you're going to create, I mean, you guys, like, seriously, tension and vocal fatigue, it is the thing that creates vocal injury. Not to say that you're necessarily dealing with that, but like that is what creates vocal hemorrhage, nodes, vocal paralysis. Those are the things. And if we don't address the role that the mind is playing in that, not then you're never going to fix it. Nobody will ever fix it. So thank you for your share and your vulnerability, Renee. You're in the right place. I'm so glad. I can't wait to see what you create this week. All right, you guys. So that's our time. I know we went a little bit over, but so glad for all of you sticking with us today. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. The link will be sent, the same thing. Just keep an eye on your email in the morning. We're going to dive in tomorrow to high level breath support. Do not miss it. Even if you've had tons of training on your support, I guarantee you there are things that you don't know, and you don't want to miss it. All right, everybody? So go do your meditation, do your thought exercise, come into the Facebook group and share your wins, share your ahas, share your celebrations, ask for support if you need it. And I will see you back here tomorrow. Bye, everybody.